what the Tiger King is all about. It is the kind of a topic which is written by Kalki, the writer. It is actually the pen name of the writer, Kalki. His full name is called as Ramaswamy Iyer Krishna Murthy, right? R.A. Krishnamurthy. So we have also another person like R.K. Narayan, Ramaswamy Krishnaswamy, that called as Narayan, right? So similar to that, here also we find out the famous writer Ramaswamy Iyer Krishnamurthy. So again, if you look into this, the writer himself was a Tamil writer, journalist, poet, critic, and Indian independence activist. So you would find out that somehow 120 short stories he wrote, 10 novelettes and 5 novels, 3 historical romances, editorial and political writings, and hundreds of film and music reviews. So the story, The Tiger King, which is considering as a satire, right? The story is a satire on the rich and powerful kings of the olden times. Olden times means referring to the past. In order to prove the prophecies of the fortune teller wrong, the king of Pratibandhapuram mindlessly kills 99 tigers. But the 100th one is the cause of the king's death, escapes his bullet. Ultimately, the king is killed by an inanimate tiger made of wood. Hence, the prophecy turns to be true, despite the king's efforts to prove it wrong. Now, if you look into this story, the Tiger King, what is this story is all about? I have pointed a kind of a satirical one, right? And it is the kind of a story which is indicating about that anything which is written, anything which is destined must be done. No one can avoid it. And though the human being means try harder, cannot prevent the kind of a thing which is already pointed. Now here, this could be a kind of a means folk tales or a means olden days story, but this story gives us the means clarity of the thought that what means it makes the people to believe. And here means the example of this king, right, who is trying to go against the thought of what? Now go against the declaration of the prophecy. Prophecy means called as a kind of a you can say that foretells future. Means of future tells, you can say that. So the story is means making us a kind of a means clear thought that how does means the king prove the idea? How does the king try to escape from his death, but at the same time he could not? So the Tiger King is the story of the king called as Jang Bahadur of Pratibandhapuram. Now here you find out the protagonist is called as King Jang Bahadur of Pratibandhapuram. So he was a brave warrior whose death had been predicted. Like you know that we heard or we saw also many of the different kinds of epics as well as storage uh, talking about the Sri Krishna where Kansa's death was already predicted, and he tried he tried many of the efforts to avoid his death, but he could not. At the end of the day, his death was done and he was killed in the hand of Krishna. Right. Similar to that, here also means the king Jang Bahadur, and he belonged to the Pratibandhapuram. So he was a brave warrior whose death had been predicted when he was born. Right. And the main astrologer who had predicted as the means royal child was born in the hour of the bull. Hour of the bull. It means the tiger being its enemy. So death would come to the child by a tiger. But he did not say that whether the animate tiger or inanimate tiger, or called as the king will be killed by the animate tiger or inanimate tiger. It was only told that death would come to the child by a tiger. The brave prince asked all tigers to beware of him. The brave prince means asked all tigers to beware of him, means when you know that you are threatened to certain animals or certain people or certain objects, so you would try to stay away from him or from it. So likewise means when the king knew that he was threatened to the tiger, then what did he make actually? Now he made all the tigers to beware of him. He came to be known as the Tiger King. It was not the tiger was considered as the king. It was considered that the Jang Bahadur of Pratibandhapuram would be known as the Tiger King. The prince became king at the age of 20 and considered killing a cow in self-defense to be lawful. Right? Considering killing a cow in self-defense to be lawful, went on a tiger killing spree. So he started killing all the tigers present at them. He was warned of danger from the hundreds tiger that he encountered. Right. So it means he killed all these tigers and means he was warned of danger from the 100th tiger that he encountered. So till the 100th of tiger, he was going to meet a kind of a means warn, right, or a kind of a threaten, as all the tigers in his kingdom had been killed by him. So, but still he had to kill more. He married into a state having a high population of tigers. When his killing reached 99, he desperately wanted the next hunt. So it's a very simple, like the child burned and it was given a kind of a foretell that he was threatened to the tigers as he was means burn in a bull hour, right? So or hour of the bull, so the tiger being its enemy. So after knowing this means the prince, when he reached at the age of 20, he started killing all these tigers, and he married to a girl who belonged to a kind of state where also high population of tigers. And when he was told that what, now he would be threatened till he reached to the 100th, right? So in that case, his killing reached 99 and he desperately wanted the next hunt. Means if he killed 100th of the tigers, then he could feel that what, Now he was out of that scene, right? So uh, he doesn't have any kind of a fear of the tiger. So on the basis of that fearing the king's harshness, the minister planted an old tiger in the forest for him to kill. So planted means it is nothing but a kind of a plan that was made. The king fired at it, but the tiger escaped. The tiger escaped the bullet miraculously. So the royal hunters feared the king and so did not inform him. The tiger escaped the bullet, means the tiger was not killed. But the royal, means you could say that the king thought that means the tiger was killed. The royal hunters feared the king and so did not inform the king. Rather, they killed the beast themselves. It means it was not the king who killed the tiger, it was the royalist who killed on behalf of the king, right? So the king, but the king was thinking, that he killed the 100th tiger, right? So the king was just satisfied that he had finally uh, means killed all the 100 tigers. He had evaded. Evaded means called as a prohibited death. And now, or he could means he had stopped death of his and now celebrated his son's third birthday. Now the idea here pointing that whether he would means he would sustain or survive or not. And as for the means prophecy, or as for the astrologer who made the prophecy, right? So would get fulfilled or not. And as the king means did not kill the 100th tiger, will he be killed by any of the tiger or not? So that is what we would like to know in details in the text, right? So what we will find out here, let's go to the text and discuss that. So the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram, the Tiger King, the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram is the hero of this story. He may be identified as His Highness Jamidar General, Khiledar Major, Sata Baghra Samari, Maharaja, or you can say that Maharaj Adhiraja, Vishwabhushan Samrat, Sir Jilani Jung Bahadur, MADSETC or CRCK, but this name is often shortened to the Tiger King. Now you could find out means how the writer introduces the main character of the story. So the main character of the story or the protagonist of the story is the king of Pratibandhapuram. So here it is stated the king is a hero due to his bravery, right? So he is given a list of titles to emphasize on his greatness, and all the titles in one, right? To sum up all these titles in one, the king is called the Tiger King. The reason for him being called so shall be revealed in the lessons that we are going to learn. So, but do remember that he is identified in a many titles that called as Highness Jamidar General, Khiledar Major, Satabagra Samari, then Maharaj Adhiraja Vishwabhushan Samrat, Sir Jilani Jung Bahadur, MAT, SCTC or CRCK. So that is what. Now, Aditi, are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now finally you find out that so they have come forward to let yes.
Sir, what are these MATACTCs RCT?
Now these are called as the titles which have been given to her, given to him. like MAD.
Okay.
The titles which have been given.
Yes, sir, but actually I'm not the full form of this, so I thought it was something else.
See, if you talk about SCTC or called as a MAD and CRCK, it is indicating as a maharaja. And if you talk about that different types of short forms, like you can say that Khiledar major, right? So, or called as a Jamedar general, so which have been given earlier to it, so that have been made as a short form to it, right? Uh, it is written no MAD, SCTC or CRCK. Is it given in your test or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have got something. Just a minute. One minute. Why Safari cannot open the... Okay, let me continue, and after that I'll... Yep. So they have come forward to tell you why he came to be known as Tiger King. So I have no intention of pretending to advance only to end in a strategy withdrawal. Even the threat of a Stuka bomber will not throw me off track. Throw me off track means called as a away me from the track. The Stuka, if it likes, can beat a hasty retreat from my story. Just a minute. Give me a second. Arena. Not open. Fine, no issue. I'll just complete this. Okay. So, what do we find out? It is clearly stated that means how did the author discuss about the king to be called as the Tiger King, and the reason for him being called the Tiger King, that will be revealed here. And we find out that they have come forward to tell you why he came to be known as Tiger King. So the author who is narrating it, so whose name is called as uh, Iyer Swami, right, or called as Iyer Krishnamurti, or called as a Kalki. So how did he narrate actually? He pointed that he had no intention of pretending to advance only to end in a strategic withdrawal. Strategic means calculated withdrawal. Even the threat of even the threat of a Stuka bomber. Hello. हाँ नहीं ମୁଁ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ନଉଛି ତ କହୁଛି ହଁ କୁହ ନାଇଁ କହୁନ ହଁ କୁହ ହଁ ମୁଁ ଅଛି କୁହ Aditi, just a minute. No. Aditi, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Just a moment. No, कहो ना अरे कहो ना कह दियो. Yep. So they have come forward to tell you why he came to be known as Tiger King, and that has been discussed here. I have no intention of means pretending. Pretending means to show, to advance, only to end in a strategic withdrawal. So strategic withdrawal means called as a calculated the idea. Even the threat of a Stuka bomber will not throw me off track. Stuka bomber will not throw me off track means a German bomber aircraft that was used in the Second World War will not throw me off track. The Stuka, if it likes, can beat a hasty retreat from my story. So the writer tells us that he would means let us know why the king was called the Tiger King. He further promises the reader that he will not go back on his promise, even if he is under the threat of an attack by a means Stuka bomber aircraft. Right. So he says that the Stuka bomber aircraft can go back because he is not afraid of it, and he will tell the reader why the king was called the Tiger King. Right. So the author started with it that what it is imperative. Imperative means important. It is important to reveal a matter of vital importance about the Tiger King. Everyone who reads of him will experience or understand the natural desire to meet a man of his indomitable courage. Indomitable means that's something called as a undefeatable, right? Or huge courage, face to face. But there is no chance of its fulfillment, right? As Bharat said to Rama about Dasaratha, the Tiger King has reached that final abode of all living creatures. In other words, the Tiger King is dead. The Tiger King has reached that final abode. So when you say that final abode, it means called as a means uh, refers to the final residence of the soul. Final residence of the soul means reaching to that last soul, right? So the writer says that means before he elaborated the Tiger King, means he pointed one important thing about him was that any person who read about the Tiger King would be definitely excited to meet the man of such undefeatable. Undefeatable means who cannot be defeated, right? But he says that there is no chance of meeting the Tiger King as the Tiger King is already dead and he has reached the kind of a place given. So the manner of his death is a matter of extraordinary interest. So how did he die? He was dead, right? It can be revealed only at the end of the tell or end of the story say. The most fantastic aspect of his death was what? That as soon as he was born, means astrologers had predicted or means foretold that one day the Tiger King would actually have to die. So the child will grow up to become the warrior of warriors, hero of heroes, champion of champions. Now it is what the childhood age and how he grows up. But they bit their lips and swallowed hard. But they bit their lips and swallowed hard. When forced to continue, the astrologer came out with it. Right? So means that's what you would find out, that this is a secret which should not be revealed at all. And yet we are forced to speak out. The child born under this star will one day have to meet its death. Now, means it is the astrologer who shared it, right? So you would find out the writer gives an elaborate description means of what the astrologers predicted at the time of birth of the Tiger King. They said that the child would grow up to become a brave warrior, means no one can defeat him, no one can means win over him. a hero, he will be a hero, he will be a champion. But after that, they stopped. Means like they find out something which is wrong about the king, and they bit their lips. So why? When do they? When do the people bit their lips? Now, when they find out something wrong, in order to show their hesitation to speak, they are not interested to tell that. When the astrologer were forced to speak, means when they were asked to tell the truth. So what happened? They said that what they would reveal just now was a secret, right? So they don't want to reveal this. They said that the child, that is the tiger king, right, was born under such a star. That means when he was born, the star which was up there in the sky was such condition, or that means in a particular direction. Like sometimes we say that northern star, right? So similar to that, he was called as a one of the star in a particular place in the sky, that any person who was born at that time had to meet his death one day. And again, this prediction is meaningless because, as a fact, everyone has to meet his death one day, right? But at that very moment, a great miracle took place. A surprising phrase come out from the lips of the 10-day-old Jilani Jung Bahadur, right? Oh, wise prophets. Now, obviously, it is a kind of a story which is uh, considered as the folk tale. So, they said, means who? Now, when the astrologer said these are the things, right? So, a great miracle happened. What was the great miracle? Surprising phrase coming out from the lips of that 10 days old baby, Jilani Jung Bahadur. And what did he say? Hey, oh wise prophets, oh wise prophets. Now, can you imagine that the baby that was means on the lap of the means mother started saying that what? Oh wise prophets. Everyone stood transfixed in stupefaction. So transfixed in stupefaction means a shock, horror, wonder, astonishment. Transfixed, they were amazed, amazed in shock, right? They looked wildly at each other and blinked. Oh, wise prophets, it was I who spoke. So the baby was saying, the means King Jung Bahadur, Jilani Jung Bahadur was saying that he was speaking. This time there were no grounds for doubt. It was the infant, but just 10 days ago, who had enunciated the words so clearly. He was speaking the words so clearly. The chief astrologer took off his spectacles. Chief astrologer means the main astrologer, took off his spectacles and looked intently or carefully at the baby. All those who are born will one day have to die, right? So the baby was saying, we don't need your predictions to know that. So the baby was saying to the chief astrologer that definitely people burn means will die, right? So means they don't need the predictions to know that they will die. There would be some sense in it if you could tell us the manner of that death. What is the manner of the death means who will be the region of means his death. The royal infant uttered these words in his little squeaky voice. Squeaky voice means called as a means tone, right? Um, that called as a baby tone voice. So you can say that,
Sir,
yes, yeah, tell
that
me.
squeaky voice, can we consider it as
High pitched
shrill
sound,
voice?
high pitched sound or cry. A high pitched sound or cry.
Yes.
A short high pitched sound or crack. That can be called as a squeaky. But I'm just telling means a baby sound. It means called as the baby who has been crying, or called as the baby that have a kind of a sound, right? So on the basis of that, squeaky. So the chief astrologer placed his finger on his nose, right? The chief astrologer placed his finger on his nose in wonder, right? A baby means because the chief astrologer could not believe that a baby barely 10 days old opens its lips in speech. Not only that, it also raises intelligent questions. Incredible, means unbelievable, rather like the bulletins issued by the War Office than facts, right? Rather like the bulletins issued by the War Office than facts, right? The chief astrologer took his finger took off his finger from his nose and fixed his eyes upon the little prince. The prince was born in the hour of the bull, right? So hour of the bull means what? That's something called as in a kind of a situation which is indicating the bull and the tiger are the enemies to each other. Therefore, death comes from the tiger, he explained, right? So that is what the means process, or that's what is called as a region, means the tiger becomes the region of its death. So you may think that Crown Prince Jangjang Bahadur was thrown into a quake. You may think, means the writer was stating here that the reader may feel that the Tiger King trembled upon hearing the name of a tiger. You may think that Crown Prince Jangjang Bahadur was thrown into a quake when he heard the word tiger. Okay. So that was exactly what did not happen. As soon as he heard it pronounced, the crown prince gave a deep growl actually, growl, Growl. So terrifying words come out from his lips. So you could see that uh, when somebody tells some kind of a warning, right? Obviously, means the higher authority made a kind of a means step against him or her in the past or during the means kinghood time, right? Here also means the reader assumes that as the chief astrologer made such kind of a means story before the prince, so the prince would take some kind of actions or called as throw the chief astrologer out of the king's palace, right? But what happened on the other hand means you would find out that those of the things did not happen, right? As soon as the crown prince Jangjang Bahadur heard the name of a tiger, he made a growling sound, deep growling sound, and spoke terrifying words. What kind of a terrifying words? So means he said that all the tigers should beware, right? Let tigers beware. What do you mean by let tigers beware? It means he knew that means who was going to means he knew that who was threatening to his life. So he was going to kill them, right? So this account is only a rumor rife in Pratibandhapuram, but with the hindsight, we may conclude it was based on some truth. So this account is only a rumor. So as you know that means the king, the thought came to the means king's life. So therefore, people of that means kingdom, which is called as a Pratibandhapuram, right, thought that it was nothing but a rumor because everybody who means heard stories so felt like it was nothing but a rumor. But with the hindsight means if you understand an event or a situation only after that, so you will believe that or you will conclude some truth, right, or some logic behind it. Further, the writer says that this story is a rumor that was heard by him in Pratibandhapuram, right? So, and if we look at the happening of the past, we could conclude that these rumors were based on true happenings. So, Crown Prince Jangjang Bahadur grew taller and stronger day by day. No other miracle marked his childhood days. apart from the event already described, right? So it means he did the kind of a miracle means when he was in a 10 age child, right? And during the chief astrologers means foretold or called as a means prediction, right? At that time he made the baby made the kind of a miracle, right? But after that means the baby grew taller and stronger day by day, so and did not find out any other kind of a miracle. So the boy drank the milk of an English cow, so was brought up by an English nanny, right? Tutored in English by an Englishman, saw nothing but English films, exactly as the crown princess. You could say that of all the other Indian states did. When he came of age at 20, the state which had been with the coat of wards until then, so came into his hand, right? So you could say that coat of wards means what? Now the coat of wards was a legal body created by the East India Company. Its purpose was to protect heirs and their estates when the heir was deemed to be a minor and therefore incapable of acting independently. So you would find out that as a boy, means the king uh, drank the milk of an English cow, was brought up by means the English governance, and was got lessons in English by an Englishman and watched English films also, just like the means those of the English princes of other means or crown princes of other Indian states did. When the crown prince Jangjang Bahadur turned 20 years of age, the royal state, which had been in the custody of the court of wards, was given to him. Court of wards means we understand that means uh, it was nothing but a legal body that was created by the company, East India Company, right? So, and the East India Company's purpose was what? Not to protect the means next generation king and the king's estates. And when the king was turned to be a major, right? So, and fit to be doing the work independently. So then they hand over the means kingship as well as the kingdom, right? And here we find out the Jangjang Bahadur turned 20 years of age, and the royal estate had been in the custody of the court of wards was given to him. But everyone in the kingdom remembered the astrologer's prediction. So even the readers, many continued to discuss the matter. Slowly, it came to the Maharaja's ears, right? So all the people, you can say that, who lived in that kingdom, right? When they made the kind of a story, not the story, the kind of a thought which was the astrologer's prediction, right? So you would find out the king heard all those things, and at that time there were innumerable forests also in the Pratibandhapuram state. They had tigers in them. So the Maharaja knew the old saying, you may kill even a cow in self-defense. So now the king realized that he had to sustain himself and survive himself, and therefore he could certainly be no objection to killing tigers in self-defense. The Maharaja started out on a tiger hunt. Now you understood that means as he got a kind of a threatening that he would be killed by a tiger. So for his self-defense, he started killing two tigers, right? Or called as started out on a tiger hunt, right? The Maharaja was excited, thrilled beyond measure when he killed his first tiger. He sent for the state astrologer and showed him the dead beast. Dead beast means the tiger dead body, right? So what do you say now? He demanded, right? So means it seems like what he was criticizing the astrologer. Your Majesty may kill 99 tigers in exactly the same manner. But the astrologer drawled, right? But what? Speak without fear. But you must be very careful with the 100th tiger. What if the 100 tiger were also killed? Now, it was the kind of a conversation between the means, king with the astrologer, and the king was just stating about what means he sent the dead body of the tigers, and means the astrologer also said the way you killed the tiger, this tiger, you also killed the other tiger in the same manner, right? So, but be careful in the 100 tiger, right? And at the same manner, means who? The king also said, if I kill the 100 tiger, then so then I will tear off all my books on astrology, set fires to them, and I shall cut up my tuft. Tuft, you understand? A bunch or collection of threads, grass, hair, held or growing together at the base, right? So crop my hair short and become an insurance agent. The astrologer finished on an incoherent note, means something which is called as a unclear and a confused manner. It means he is an astrologer and his statement would be a fact. He believed, right? And he collected those ideas from the books, right? And the kind of a practice he did. So, therefore, means he stated, if you kill all these 100 tigers in the same manner, then I will burn my books, right? Books on astrology, and I will crop up my hair, and means I'll cut up my tuft also and become an insurance agent, right? So, and but he stated in a kind of a unclear or confused manner. From that day onwards, it was a celebration time for all the tigers inhabiting Pratibandhapuram, right? So, celebration time means what? Now, that's something the state banned tiger hunting by anyone except the Maharaja. The state banned tiger hunting, so no one can kill the tiger except Maharaja. So even an official announcement, proclamation means an official announcement was issued to the effect that if anyone courage to uh, means or dared to flinch called as a jump so much as a stone at a tiger, or means flinch means called as a throw so much as a stone at a tiger, all his wealth and property would be confiscated. Confiscated means will be taken by the authority of the means state or king. So the Maharaja promised that what? Now he would attend to all other matters only after killing the 100 tigers. Means it was a kind of a challenge for him. So initially the king seemed well set to realize his ambition, right? So at the beginning, the king thought that what? He would achieve his ambition to kill 100 of tigers, right? So a strong desire to achieve certain things, but not that he faced no dangers. So not that faced means no dangers means even sometime also it happens. There were times when the bullet missed its mark and the tiger jumped upon him and he fought the tiger with his bare hands, naked hands. Each time it was the Maharaja who won. Means you would find out that without any weapon, he also sometimes fight with the tigers and he own it. At another time, he was in a danger of losing his throne, right? Means, why? Now, sometime also it happens, or at another time, he was in danger of losing his throne. Throne means called as a, that or called as a crown, right? A high-ranking British officer visited Pratibandhapuram. He was very fond of hunting tigers. Very fond of hunting tigers means what? Now, the British officers are means fond of a British official right, who visited Pratibandhapuram to the king. So, means out of them, one was very fond of hunting tigers and fonder of being photographed with the tigers he had shot. So, means it means called as the British officers will kill the tiger, and with that tiger would take the picture, right? And that's what. As usual, he wished to hunt tigers in Pratibandhapuram, but the Maharaja was farm in age reserve. He refused permission. So he did not give permission to the means British officers to do the means hunting of tiger. So he said that I can organize any other hunt. You may go on a boar hunt. You may conduct a mouse hunt. We are ready for a mosquito hunt, but tiger hunt, that's impossible. So it was a kind of a message or means statement made by the means who the Tiger King or the King of Pratibandhapuram. The British official secretary sent word to the Maharaja through the Diwan, right? Means when he sent a message like that, that you can't kill the tiger, you can kill or you can hunt any other, no doubt, but not to the uh, tiger. So at the same time, the British officer's secretary sent word to the Maharaja. Sent word to the Maharaja means send message to the Maharaja through the Diwan that the Durai. Now, what is that Durai? That called as a leader, right? Tamil word meaning chief or leader, right? Himself did not have to kill the tiger, right? So the Maharaja could do the actual killing. What was important to the Durai was a photograph of himself holding the gun and standing over the tiger's carcass. But the Maharaja would not agree even to this proposal. If he hesitated, relented now, what would he do if other British officers turned up for tiger hunts? So, means he did not even allow the means chief or leader to take the photo of themselves with the tiger's carcass. Carcass means tiger's dead body, right? So, means because according to him, he thought that if this if I give this chance to this British officials, then other British officials will come up and also means they also want the same thing, right? So because he stopped a British officer from fulfilling his desire, the Maharaja stood in danger of losing his kingdom self, because at that time the British officers have the means uh, huge power, right? So the Maharaja and the Diwan held a deliberation over this issue. Deliberation means discussion over this issue. And as a final result, what happened? Means a telegram was sent forthwith to a famous British company of jewelers in Calcutta. So, British company of jewelers in um, Calcutta sent samples of expensive diamond rings of different designs. So it means what the king wanted to do, the king means wanted to make the British officers happy, right? That's why he ordered, right, some of the jewelry items from the uh, from where from means a British company of jewelry in Calcutta. So some 50 rings arrived. The Maharaja sent so 50 rings, right? For whom? Those of the British officers, good lady. The Maharaja sent the whole lot to the British officers, good lady. The king and the minister expected the Durai Sani. It means king's, British officer who is the chief, right, the leader. So, and his wife is called as a Durai Sani, wife of the chief. So expected the Duraisani to choose one or two rings and send the rest back. Within no time, at all the Duraisani sent her reply, thank you very much for your gifts. It means she kept all, right? So 50 rings. In 2 days, a bill for 3 lakh of rupees came from the British jewelers. The Maharaja was happy that though he had lost 3 lakh of rupees, he had managed to keep his kingdom. Otherwise, what would happen? Now, he would have thrown from his thrown from his throne, right, of his kingdom. So the Maharaja's tiger hunts continued to be highly successful, right? It means he finally got the success of what means continue his killing tigers. Within 10 years, he was able to kill somehow called as a 70 tigers. And then an unforeseen means something called as a not to be believed, a kind of a barrier, unforeseen hurdle, unplanned, accidental that brought his mission to a standstill. Means for some reason you would find out, and then some accidental means a hurdle or problem that came to his mission to a standstill. Means he could not continue. The tiger population become extinct. Means he could not even kill the 100 tigers. So and or means in Pratibandhapuram, so means less than 100 tigers were there, or fewer than 100 tigers were there, right? So therefore, means he could not continue to complete his 100 tigers. So means who knows whether the tigers practiced birth control or committed harakiri. Harakiri means a ritual of suicide practiced in Japan. So maybe it happens that the tiger means stopped means or called as a stopped practicing birth control or birth, or called as a committed harakiri, or called as a most of the tigers have committed suicide or simply ran away from the state. Or maybe it happened that these tigers, because of the fear, right, went to the other state because they desired to be shot by British hands alone. They don't want to kill. They don't want to be killed uh, from this king, right? So one day the Maharaja sent for the Divan, right? So Divan Chahab, right? So aren't you aware of the fact that 30 tigers still remain? It means he killed 70 tigers and 30 more tigers still remain to be shut down by this gun of mine. He asked brandishing his gun. So means called as a kind of a excessive aggressive anger thought. Holding his gun, he stated that. Shuddering at the sight of the gun, shuddering means called as with the anger he was trembling with. So and stated, shuddering at the sight of the gun means the divan also when saw the kind of appearance of the king, so he was also shivering. So he was saying, Your Majesty, I'm not a tiger. Which idiot would call you a tiger? And no, I'm not a gun, right? So the king also said that. Means who said that you are a tiger? And no, and I'm not a gun. You are neither tiger nor gun. Diwan Sahib, I summoned you here for a different purpose. I have decided to get married. Means who? The king said, right? So what was the plan behind him? Now he had a kind of a plan that what? Now the Divan began to babble even more, right? Your Majesty, I have two wives already. If I marry you, so it was a kind of a humorous, right? So the king said, What? Don't talk nonsense. Why should I marry you? What I want is a tiger. So, Your Majesty, please think it over. Your ancestors were married to the sword. If you like, marry the gun. A tiger king is more than enough for this state. It does not need a tiger queen as well. So, it means a kind of a means a humorous part which was going on, because at first means the appearance of the king was called as aggressive in nature, and because of his aggressiveness means our anger appearance means the divan was afraid of it and trembling. So means divan also said that what he was not a tiger and the king also not a gun, right? But when the king said that he wanted to uh, get into the marriage, so the divan again also said that he was means having two wives and he could not marry. So again means a kind of a humorous part. The next part is called as he wanted to means uh, marry. So, but at the same time, he wanted to means marry, but he stated that the tiger. So again, means the divan thought that it was the tiger whom the king wanted to marry. So that made a kind of a, you know, quick, confused, excited, or silly, right? Babble thought. So and stated that what the kingdom have already a tiger king and doesn't need a tiger queen. So the Maharaja gave a loud crack of laughter, means laugh loudly. I'm not thinking of marrying either a tiger or a gun, but a girl from the ranks of human beings. So he stated that he wanted to marry a girl, right, with the same rank, right. First, you may drop statistics of tiger populations in the different native states. So his plan was what? He wanted to marry a girl, right, so who belong to a kind of a state where the population of the tiger would be more than any other states. Next, you may investigate if there is a girl I can marry in the royal family of a state with a larger tiger population, like I pointed. So, investigate means to find out. So, the Divan followed his orders. He found the right girl from a state which possessed a large number of tigers. So finally, the Divan did the work, right? Maharaja Changjang Bahadur killed 5 or 6 tiger each time he visited his father-in-law. In this manner, he killed 99 tiger skins, right? Adorned the walls of the reception hall in the Pratibandhapuram palace. It means he killed almost 99 tigers and their skin he decorated on the wall. Decorated, adorn means decorating. Decorated in the Pratibandhapuram palace. The Maharaja's anxiety reached a fever pitch when there remained just one tiger to achieve its tally of 100 because his target was 100 tigers to be killed, right? So he had this one thought during the day and the same dream at night, that how to kill the last tiger. By this time, the tiger farms had run dry, even in his father in law's kingdom. It became impossible to locate tigers anywhere. So it means not a single tiger alive, right? So, and it was empty in father in law's house as well as in a Pratibandhapuram means kingdom. Yet only one more was needed. If he could kill just that one single beast means tiger, then the Maharaja would have no fear slept because he had a fear that one tiger could means kill him. He could give up tiger hunting altogether, right? If he killed the 100 tiger, then he would stop killing tigers after that. But he had to be extremely careful with that last tiger. What had the late chief astrologer said? Because the chief astrologer said that the way you kill 30, you had you have to kill all the 100 tiger in the same manner. And even after killing 99 tigers, the Maharaja should beware of the 100 tiger. True enough. So the tiger was a savage beast after all. Savage beast means called as a kind of a uncontrolled and means cruel one. One had to be wary of it. Wary means courteous of it. But where was that 100 tiger to be found? It seemed easier to find tiger's milk than a live tiger, right? So therefore, the Maharaja was sunk in a gloom. Sunk in gloom means what? Now he he fell in a sadness, but soon came the happy news which dispelled that gloom. Dispelled means called as a removed, right, or disappeared that unhappiness. In his own state, she began to disappear frequently from a hillside village. So the news came that what means there there was a tiger, right? How do you know that? Now the sheep was begun to disappear, right? The sheep began to disappear. continuously from a hillside, means top of the mountainside village. And it was first uh, ascertained or called as declared that this was not the work of means Khadar Mia Sahib or Birasami Naikar, both both famed for their ability to swallow sheep whole. Surely a tiger was at work. The villagers ran to inform the Maharaja. The Maharaja announced a 3 year exemption from all taxes. Means the Maharaja also gave a kind of a means attractive reward to the villagers and set out on the hunted ones. So he wanted that, means if he killed this last tiger, then he would give 3 year exemption from all taxes. The tiger was not easily found, and it seemed as if it had wantonly, means carelessly, hid itself in order to float the Maharaja's will. Right. So you would find out that the tiger was not easily found after, means after it was assumed that the tiger existed. So, and it seemed as if it had carelessly hid. Carelessly hid means uh, hidden, right? The, in it in order to flout the Maharaja's will. So flout means called as a go against the Maharaja's interest. The Maharaja was equally determined also. So he refused to leave the forest until the tiger was found. As the days passed, the Maharaja's anger and the obstinacy means called as jiddi, that also grew rapidly, alarmingly. Many officers lost their jobs, right? One day, when his rage was at its height, means when his anger was reaching to the top, the Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double the land tax forthwith. Double the land tax forthwith means what? Now, he wanted to give the reward if he killed the means, if he killed the means last or 100 tiger. But as he has not received the last tiger or 100 tiger, so therefore, with the anger, he decided to increase the means land tax forthwith to the farmer. The people will become discontented. People started dissatisfied, and then our state too will fall a prey to the Indian National Congress, right? So in that case, you may resign your from your post, the king said, right? So the Divan went home. So the king said to whom? The Divan. The Divan went home, convinced that if the Maharaja did not find the tiger soon, the results could be destructive, catastrophic. He felt life returning to him only when he saw the tiger which had been brought from the People's Park in Madras and kept hidden in his house. Now see that how means they played the kind of a thing. The results could be catastrophic. He felt life returning to him only when he saw the tiger which had been brought from the People's Park in Madras. So it was brought from that place to kept hidden in his house. At midnight, when the town slept in peace, the Diwan and his aged wife dragged the tiger to the car and pushed it into the shit. The Diwan himself drove the car straight to the forest where the Maharaja was hunting. When they reached the forest, the tiger means launched its satyagraha and refused to get out of the car. Satyagraha means, you understand, the tiger did not want to come out from the car, right? So means, or like what means, was not interested to obey the order of the Diwan. The Diwan was thoroughly exhausted or tired in his efforts to force the beast out of the car and push it down to the ground, right? So on the following day, the same old tiger moving here and there into the Maharaja's presence and stood as if in humble supplication. Humble supplication means what? Now the tiger was ready to, surrender itself before the king. So, Master, what do you command of me? It was with boundless joy that the Maharaja took careful aim at the beast. The tiger fell in a crumpled heap. Crumpled heap means what? Now, the tiger was fell in a crumpled heap means the tiger fell down, right, and got into a kind of a fainted, right? Faint means called as unconscious. So the king was so happy. He said he has killed the 100 tiger. My promise has been fulfilled. The Maharaja was overcome with elation. Elation means happiness. Ordering the tiger to be brought to the capital in grand procession. The Maharaja quickly away in his car. Right. So finally, what happened? That called as the Maharaja killed the 100 tiger. He felt very happy. He wanted the tiger to be present in the means where? Now in the capital in grand procession. Uh, okay. So more are there. Yeah. So after that, after the Maharaja slept, the hunters went to take a closer look at the tiger. The tiger looked back at them, rolling its eyes in confusion, bafflement. Bafflement means confusion. So after the Maharaja slept, what happened? The hunters means who were ready to take the closer look at the tiger, but the tiger looked back at them with the rolling its eyes. It seems like in confusion. The men realized that or understood that the tiger was not dead. It means that the king did not kill that tiger. The bullet had just missed the tiger and it had got unconscious from the shock of the bullet that moved very fast. Means that just passed it. The hunters wondered what they should do because if they brought the tiger, means the alive tiger to the king, then means the king would not leave, right? The king would not leave these people. So the hunters wondered what they should do. They decided that the Maharaja must not come to know that he had missed his target. So he did. If he did, they could lose their jobs. Who? The hunters. One of the hunters took aim from a distance of 1 foot and shot the tiger. This time he killed it without missing his mark. Now, please do understand that the king did not kill the 100 tiger. He killed 99. And the tiger was 100 tiger was killed by the hunter. And as we know that means it was missed by the king. So then, as commanded by the king, the dead tiger was taken in procession through the town and buried. A tomb was means a big statue. You can say that pillar was erected. Erected means called as a straightened over it. A few days later, the Maharaja's son's third birthday was celebrated. Until then, the Maharaja had given his entire mind over to tiger hunting. So, means not till then, Maharaja had given his entire mind over to tiger hunting. So, as you know that he had no time to spare for the crown prince. But now the king turned his attention to the child. So it means until he killed 100th of the tiger, so means he was not giving his attention to his family, his kingdom, his child, right? But now he killed means he believed that he killed 100 of tigers. So he was giving attention to the child after that. He wished to give him some special gift on his birthday. He went to the shopping center in Pratibandhapuram and searched every shop but could not find anything suitable. Finally, he spotted a wooden tiger. So, so he did not find out a suitable means toys or suitable things. He spotted a wooden tiger in a toy shop and decided it was the perfect gift for his child. Right. So the wooden tiger cost only 2 annas and a quarter. But the shopkeeper knew that if he quoted such a low price to the Maharaja, he would be punished under the rules of the emergency. Right. Now, who could means who could do what? Right. If you tell the means it is something like a kind of a story of means the melon city. Right. So he would be punished under the rules of the emergency. So he said, Your Majesty, this is an extremely rare example of craftsmanship. Craftsmanship means decorated by the means uh, famous designer, a bargain at 300 rupees. So, and he made it 300 rupees bargaining. So, Raja also said, Very good, let this be your offering to the crown prince on his birthday. The king said and took it away with him. On that day, father and son played with that small little wooden tiger, and it had been carved by an unskilled carpenter. It had been carved, it had been, decorated by an unskilled carpenter. Unskilled means called as somebody who have no knowledge about means carving such a means particular design. Its surface was rough. Whose surface? That means that the wooden tiger's surface was rough. Rough means not plain, right? Tiny silvers of wood stood up like a kills all over it. So tiny silvers, small silvers of wood that came out like kills all over it. So one of those silvers pierced means entered the Maharaja's right hand. And you know that when means silvers or called as means rust iron put on your hand or finger, so obviously it turned into means some kind of a tetanus. He pulled it out with his left hand and continued to play with his prince. The next day, so obviously his hands infected with the means or infected and fled in the Maharaja's right hand, and it spread into the Maharaja's right hand. In 4 days, it developed into suppurating. Suppurating means called as that wound full of pus. Pus, you understand? That's something called as a pujo type, right? It develops into suppurating or called as a wound full of pus, sore, and it also getting pain, which spread all over the arm. Now, because of that silver, right? So, three famous surgeons, three famous surgeons who were brought in from Madras after holding a consultation. So they discussed together, or after discussing a lot, they decided to operate. The operation took place. The three surgeons who performed it came out of the theater and announced the operation was successful and the Maharaja is dead. In this manner, the 100th tiger took its final revenge upon the Tiger King. Right? So, if you look into that, the statement where the three famous surgeons who were called from Madras and they decided to operate upon the king. After the operation, the surgeons came out of the theater and said that the operation was successful and the Maharaja was dead. Here, if you see that, the surgeon words are contradictory because if the king died, it meant that the operation was unsuccessful. Whereas they said that it was successful. Actually, why they said that it was successful? Now, they were supporting the words of the astrologer. It means they succeed in their operation, but the king killed the man. The tiger killed the king. The wooden tiger was the 100th tiger that had actually killed the King Jangjang Bahadur, and therefore made the astrologer's prediction true. So, in this manner, the 100th tiger took its revenge upon the Tiger King and killed him. Right? Am I clear? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
So fine. So that's all for the day. This is what the whole story is all about. So I think I took 1 hour 30 minutes to complete this. Fine, but I thought to complete one after another chapter. But you need to also understand it. Therefore, I had to go means the whole story. Okay. So that's all for the day. We'll meet in the next class tomorrow.
Yes. At what time?
Tomorrow, if possible, 10 to 11. Huh?
Okay, sir.
So how are you feeling? Means, are you feeling well or not?
Yes, sir, I'm feeling well.
Okay.
I'm feeling much better after reading this chapter because it was quite interesting.
And humorous also, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all. Thank you. We'll meet in the next class. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Tomorrow, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. No issue.
Yes, sir.